And then it was eventually worked out, like 3-4 days later, that they would just schedule us meals. We would get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But breakfast, lunch, and dinner would consist of 2 bologna sandwiches on white bread, 2 cookies, and a bag of juice, and a bottle of water if they remembered to bring it.
How kind of them.
Yeah, it was prepared by the jail and then trucked 45 minutes up on the mountain to be handed to us. And I know that they were assembly line made probably that first day and then just stuck in a fridge. Oh, and 2 mustard packets that probably counted as our vegetables.
I know that, probably a lot of it you don't remember because the whole experience was surreal, but did you ever have kind of those moments where you're just sitting up in that tree thinking, like, is this America? I have to sit up in my tree to stop them from destroying my land? Because you hear a lot of this conservative talk about, don't tread on me, and, you come on my land, I'm going to shoot you. And it just seems surreal that, a mother and a daughter, obviously you're close, would have to take these measures.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely was for me. There were multiple times thinking, like, I never envisioned this ever. But I know I've got some probably remarkably strong mental coping skills going on. I've pushed down a lot of the bad days, and they'll come back and bite me.
But I suffer, I think, from Tourette's, and they push all my right buttons, and they came in with their chainsaws and started cutting.
Cannot tell you
and
anything that she told
Sergeant comes up with a bullhorn, and I've got people cutting my fucking trees, and he's yelling for me to come down. And I would not open my tarps for him, and he's yelling, and he's yelling, and he's yelling, and those chainsaw, and I hear my big trees dropping. And I throw open that tarp, and I say, fuckers, you are the Roanoke County Police, and you are supposed to protect your Roanoke County citizens. You're not supposed to be sucking MVP's dicks. And I said, when did this happen? And he looks up at me, and I said, and I think you still got some on your chin. So go fuck yourself and get out of here. I'm not coming down. And evidently they didn't think a 61-year-old woman
had the tenacity to do that.
Was supposed to say that kind of shit while they were taking out her forest. I had to cut my trees for the gypsy moths. The guy was related to us that did the timber, and he took great care in what he did. And he told me, if we can cut them before they die, you'll have your hardwood forest back in 100 years. But if they die, it'll take you 200 years to get a hardwood forest back. It takes an oak tree 22 years to develop an acorn. So I'm sitting up there watching him cut all my trees, thinking, I won't see it again. Yeah, I got ugly. A few times.
Yeah.
I also understand that they cut an apple orchard that was like 150 years old.
My apple trees. I had pippins were the big thing up here, and a lot of my trees have died. Gypsy moth like apples too. And at the top of the orchard, I had a couple of pippins still producing, and I had a huge Rome. I'm calling it a Rome. One of my neighbors said that's probably what it was. It was probably as big as that little oak in front of the pine. It was a tree. Produced beautifully. And I'd snack on the apples occasionally, but mainly the bear, the deer, the raccoons, every animal up here, just, you could see where they'd come through and eat on them. And yeah, I wasn't making a living from them, but they meant a lot to me. And they marked them all. I've been up there. I can't go up there right now. Yeah, but they cut them all down. And yeah. Massey made the comment at one of the court hearings that, well, everybody has a favorite tree. That's not going to stop us. And then I have an oak tree out here in the back. It's a scarlet oak. Was a scarlet oak. That when it was coming up, I thought, what a wonderful place for an oak, because it was kind of in the corner of the field and had room to grow, and I thought that'll be nice. So when it was about this big, I marked it so I wouldn't bush hog it. And it started producing acorns a couple years ago. And it looks like one of the pictures you see of the single tree that's just absolutely gorgeous. Well, that was in their path too. Her little tree house she built while we were cutting wood, that was in her path too, in an oak.
That's where I lost it.
Yeah, that was in a nice oak, but they don't care. People have favorite trees. Why shouldn't they make profit just because we have favorite trees?